Green Machine Radio on KCBQ is sponsored by the Love Radio Network.
This is Green Machine Radio on Intelligent Talk 1170 KCBQ. This show features all types of green industry products. Now, here's your host, Dave Stahl.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yes, you're listening to the Green Machine Radio Show. I'm Dave.
I'm Alex.
He's Ron, and I'm Ken.
He's not supposed to say nothing. He hasn't paid nothing yet until he writes a check, dude. We don't let him get on air. What, you crazy or something? No, I'm only kidding. Yeah, we got Ron Bracken in the house. He'll be chatting with us a little bit about solar. But we really want to thank the folks at Convoy Auto Service for finding us some lubrication for our hinge here, because Ken keeps squeaking this thing back and forth, back and forth. You want some WD-40? I'm going to hook you up, brother. 3909 Convoy Street in San Diego. They will take care of your car. Dave and his crew, they love working on cars. They stay totally up to date. I don't care if it's domestic, import, British, German, you name it, he can work on it. 858-560-9131. So hopefully you guys have all had a nice green week and weekend. How you doing today, Alex?
I'm doing well, Dave. Today was a work on the aquaponics system up at the SRI laboratory.
Yes. Yeah. Water in the rock, or the waterless planting.
Yeah, and it's in combination, of course, with live fish or aquaculture going on.
Better than dead, huh?
Yeah. Well, that was actually part of the issue, is because we weren't getting enough filtration in our water supply. We had a bit too much of an algae bloom, which started to take oxygen. So some of our bigger fish
turned purple.
Yeah, they decided they were gonna float. So
float.
We had to change that up and clean it all up today. So that was kind of a surprise thing. I had planned originally, I think, to go for a little bit of a ride, but that just didn't work out that way.
Well, that's
today,
pretty good.
You know?
So, where'd you find these folks?
Well, we had the good fortune of meeting with Ron not too long ago. This is through one of my associates at SRI.
Mm-hmm.
And Ron has come up with a better mousetrap, if you will, in the world of solar energy collection.
Okay, I'm listening. Can you bolt it to my tough shed?
Well,
so I don't have to run a power to that stupid thing?
You could just set it out next to it, and you wouldn't have to worry about bolting it anywhere.
Really?
And you don't have to worry about being pointed to the south at a strict 30-degree azimuth. And
really?
A huge,
What's an azimuth?
It's the angle.
What an azimuth is, Ken? Tell the truth. You don't know what it is either, do you? Come on.
It's the angle.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
That's what I was going to say. But
is it an angle or a vector?
It's actually a radiant, degrees.
You guys are all wrong. I could have told you it was a radian.
It's the vector, Victor.
Oh, it's a vector. Vector.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway. So what you need to do with this is just, if you have direct sunlight somewhere, you just set the unit right in the direct sunlight, and
bingo.
It collects all it needs.
Where does it collect it? Does it have a big honking bat? Why am I talking to you? We ought to be talking to the guy that put this thing together, huh? Or at least his wife behind him, who probably really did all the work. So, Ron, tell us about this. First off, what's your background?
Well, I'm a degreed mechanical engineer
out
of the University of North Florida. Good old Gator boy.
Hey.
Although I'm a native-born Southern Californian.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you're smart. You're here.
Yeah, well, I don't know about smart, but here anyway.
Yeah, right. Well,
this all came about as a project. This was not the old light bulb comes on over the top of the noggin type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This actually came as a result of conversations I've had over the years with an old friend of mine who passed away not long ago, and I finally figured it was time to do something. What I was able to achieve, the first goal I had was to dramatically reduce the footprint of existing flat panel solar array systems. The acreage required to produce usable amount of electricity from those things is horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just look at some of these megawatt systems you see out in the desert or on the roofs of people's houses or anywhere else.
Yeah.
What I ended up coming up with was a way to reduce this by 80% or better. It's a dramatic reduction. Maintain the same outputs. Also, there was several other side benefits that came up along with this, like Alex was talking about, as I found out that it desensitized the unit as far as how you face it. Most people have the mindset that flat panel solar systems have to be directed at a south-facing, look with a certain amount of pitch to be able to make maximum utilization. And like Alex said, you basically find a warm, sunny spot, throw it on the ground, and because it's plug and play, you just walk over next to your electric meter and plug it in.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I got a guy who wants to chop down all my trees because he doesn't like the way the sun's pointing on the south. He ain't cutting my tree down. I said, go figure out another way to do it. And that was the last I talked to him.
Well, which
and I've only had 3 trees.
Which is worse? I mean, we have to have the trees.
Well,
for oxygen and everything else and shade and. So, no, I don't blame you there.
Here's the other thing I want to do, and I've not found anybody that's willing to even talk to me. I want a carport. I want to put the panels on top of the carport.
Oh, there's people out there that'll do that right now, but why?
Why not? Oh, I mean, why? Because I want to cover my cars. I don't care about the sun. I'm more interested in covering the cars, and I want to roll it all into my one little whatever payment it is.
Okay.
We'll talk later.
Okay.
But the whole bottom line is, and Alex, you and I have, like Ken, you have too, that every day this technology changes. First we had the big massive panels that you needed a tractor trailer and a forklift to install. Now you've got panels that are sheets, of material that you can use for. So the technology, and this doesn't surprise me. You're sitting here telling me you've been able to capture more by not being so precise with your aiming.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. There has been very minute steps in changing the technology. Obviously, the photocells themselves, the efficiencies have made minor increases over the last several years.
Why is that?
Because of the basic rudimentary of the manufacturing of the cell, which is and the materials that have to go into it. Without getting too technical,
because you'll lose me.
NPN, connections and things like that.
Well, I just want to make sure it's not because Big Brother's watching, and because they kind of did that with the EV1. Remember with the old G? They didn't let them use the best batteries. They didn't let them use the best technology. They said, if you could go struggle with what you got, and no, you can't have anything better. Unfortunately, it semi-backfired on them because everybody and their brother that had one, loved them. So I think, that's why whenever I hear, when I hear like technology is not as advanced as, my little pea brain would think, my first, thought is, the government's trying to keep you down until they can figure out how to make money off it.
Well, I mean, you always follow the bucks when it comes to the government.
Sure.
Believe me, we've had Solyndra and a few others to demonstrate that in history.
Exactly.
But the actual technology for the flat panel solar system was actually developed by Bell Laboratories. And it has changed minutely since it was first developed in 1954.
That's what I thought. Okay, now I have to take a break.
That's my year.
Is that when you were born?
Yeah.
55?
4.
No, you graduated in 55. Don't start. You born in 55. Hey, we're going to take a small break. When we come back, there's a whole lot more going on. And it's EDLSolar.com, EDLSolar.com if you want to follow along. I'm Dave.
I'm Alex.
I'm Ron.
And I'm Ken.
You ain't paid yet. You got to get the money first. No, I'm only kidding. Hey, you're listening to the Green Machine Radio Show. We will be right back. This is KCBQ AM 1170, Intelligent Talk Radio.
.1170 KCBQ.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. You're listening to the Green Machine Radio Show. I'm Dave.
I'm Alex.
I'm Ron.
And I'm Ken.
And this segment is brought to you by Certified Car Care right up there on Miramar Place. 8360 Miramar Place, 858-552-7860. Why is that important to you? Well, if you're driving a Prius or maybe even a Leaf and it's getting ready to go out of warranty and your battery is getting close to replacement, but you really want to keep the car, well, these folks at Certified Car Care will cut your installation price in half. That's correct. And still using a factory battery, so it's not like you're getting some off-the-wall battery that's not going to give you the life expectancy that you expect out of the vehicle you're driving right now. So give them a call if you have a vehicle and you want to save some money. 858-552-7860. Make sure you tell them the gang at Green Machine Radio sent you. So, Alex, reintroduce our guest if you'd like.
Well, our guest tonight is the Chief Technology Officer for Enviro Design Laboratories out here in El Cajon. And he has come up with a really interesting way to much better use the available solar light to capture energy. And think about it, we got the Del Mar Fair going on right now, and they have along the midway there, you've got the Fun House and the House of Mirrors. You get in there and you can't escape out of it. Well, that's basically what happens to the light when it hits his solar array. It keeps bouncing around in there until it gets used, and then he has really made an improvement over the old technology of solar capture.
All right. So Ron, basically, you have the panel that collects the energy, but you don't need a battery to store it?
Well,
Or do
that's the end result. You have to have some place to start, and that is the collection side of it. As far as how you transform the output from any solar system is dependent upon your usage. You can either be net metering, like that's the people who plug into SDG&E or Semper or PG&E, whoever, or you have some kind of energy storage system. The most common of that is a battery. The only difference between the two is how you transform the solar energy electric output into where it goes, either through a battery charger for the battery backup systems or an inverter. I'm sure you've heard of that for like the off zero net metering. The nice thing is our system can go either way. It doesn't matter, and we will actually manufacture them with either application for them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dave, it says here, this is for you.
Oh, is it for me?
Consumer-friendly repair and upgrades. That's right up your alley.
Yeah, right. I know, consumer-friendly repair. How big is a manual, 100 pages?
No, actually, repairing this system is each panel within the light chamber has a go, no-go indicator, basically a little red or red or green LED light. You get a red light, you open the box, you literally pull a panel out, chuck it, drop in a new panel, close the lid. That's how long it takes to repair it.
Yeah, you do it. I ain't going to do it. I'll make a phone call. You'll be there lickety-split with a new panel because I will screw it up, guaranteed.
Well, there is no way to screw it up because it only goes in one way.
He hasn't seen me do it. I'm telling you, I tell this story all the time. I put an AM radio in a car with 2 speakers, and the car caught fire. Okay, so I don't want to. We won't even go down that road. I'll have you come out if I get one, and you can do all that. Ken would love to do it, but he scares me. He likes 220 for some reason. Well,
does the sorry, Dave,
go right ahead.
Does the light that's reflected have to be reflected at a specific angle in order to go to its next place that it's going to be reflected?
No, because like Ken referred to, it's a house of mirrors inside. Or the Hall of Mirror effect is actually what that's engineering.
So it doesn't make any difference where the sun hits it. It's just gonna
bounce it around there if it's at a low aperture.
How did you figure that out? I mean, was that a middle of the night wake up after 3 martinis and go, whoa, what is this?
No, not at all. Actually, I sat down with the desire to redo solar systems.
Oh, okay.
And went through some trial and error design phases and came up with some crazy thoughts and ideas, and then all of a sudden I just thought, well, let's
try this. And then everything fell together instantly. Really?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting. So who's the market?
Basically anybody in the world, and that's my partner's goal is we want to make every living human being on this planet energy independent.
Works for me. Can you put this in a roof panel of a car and possibly propel a vehicle? It sounds to me like you could.
And this is 100% scalable. We can go down from the millivolt size to the megavolt.
Really?
Yeah.
Seems like the military would want something like that, too.
Actually, I have a prototype that we're testing right now that is a 640-watt system for mobile military.
Okay.
That's something, because I'm an ex-GI.
Right.
Was one of my driving forces behind this because of the high casualty and injury rates that we had because of these roadside bombers. the biggest favorite target for these bozos over there was the fuel convoys taking diesel fuel out to remote sites. And then I got doing a little bit more digging in it. And do either of you or anybody in here know how much the United States citizen got billed per gallon of diesel fuel over there?
Go ahead, ruin my day.
$400 a gallon.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and then does that surprise us?
Yeah.
I mean, really.
So, anyway, this eliminates all that.
Sure. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm not a skeptic, but when you start chomping into that kind of a revenue source, somebody ain't going to like it.
Well, that's typical of all disruptive technologies.
No, I understand. The only thing that's saving you is the internet and Facebook and all those things. If there was a way they could squelch that technology, I'm sorry, I really think that they would, until they could control it. Once they can control it to where the revenue goes their way, but I'm just so thankful of the internet because they can't hold you back.
Exactly.
You could sell it to them, which is fine. You can sell them the technology, and that seems to be the new dream. Once you figure it out, you get it big, then you just sell it to them.
Well, as that's where we are in the process of our invention, as we call it, our project, is we are starting negotiations for a couple governments and hopefully militaries and some other private individuals, some venture arm people for licensing the technology.
Right, and that's a smart way to go. Well, because, just stop and think about the low-income folks, all over the United States. And I really would like to take care of the U.S. first. Then you're more than welcome to go cross borders and help those guys and girls out. But, I can see this as really,
the chances,
cutting edge.
The chances of the United States being the opening market for this technology is marginal.
I'm sure it's going to be overseas.
You cannot believe how difficult it is to go through this process that my partner and I have been going through for the last 2 years.
Sure, I can imagine. Can you imagine? I wanted to buy a storage building for my property, so I was going to buy a steel. It's certified. It's got all the California permits. I went to get it, and I had to go buy another $2,000 worth of permits to put up a permitted building.
Yeah.
And what am I putting up? What? No. So I'm not going to build a building. I'll fix them.
Yeah.
Go
Dave,
ahead.
yeah.
You got another definition?
No.
Of arithmetic?
On Wednesday, I was lucky enough to go to SDMAC breakfast, which is San Diego Military Advisory Council, and the Assistant Secretary of the Navy, Dennis McGill, spoke, and he is in charge of energy installations and environment. And I'll tell you, his speech, he's all over this, exactly what you're talking about. He definitely wants to get all these Navy bases energy independent through solar and whatever. And yeah, he's
I think it's the
all
perfect
over
time
this.
for you to come to the market with something like this, really.
Well, we feel it's very serendipitous. Let's put it that way. It's the market worldwide is just exploding.
Sure.
The United States in 2013, and I'm not sure if I have my exact numbers correct, but was somewhere north of $200 billion.
Right.
And the United States is not even a player in the solar industry.
No.
Now, we're like the 8th largest market. Germany's the largest market.
Right.
Yeah. And before too long, China will be the largest market. But even the EAU's a bigger market than the United States for solar.
Right.
So it's, we've had a lot of, excuse my French, I hope I don't step on toes, but a lot of politicians posturing for energy, renewable energy and everything else. But the minute you try to go for funding or granting or anything all you do is you get the Buffalo Shuffle.
Sure. Well, that's what I said. It's not, unless it's their idea. It's almost like they're afraid if they put their stamp of approval on it. What if it doesn't go right? Then it's going to be their reputation. It's going to be their political, future. I know, it drives me crazy. Well, to me,
plus they probably have tons of lobby pressure from the people that produce.
I always wanted that guy. Yeah. Wouldn't that be a cool job? Just stand here talking all day and not make any sense at all.
That's what we do.
I know.
You and I would be perfect,
and they would pay me. They could pay me to be an idiot. I would love it. I mean, when I do it for free, it really irritates me. But no, but like I said, this, I'll tell you how terrible it is. We're the only green show in San Diego.
Yeah.
Go figure. I mean, hello, this especially California, we should be rocking. There should be radio shows all over the place talking about this, because the general public still doesn't know.
No.
They haven't got a clue. All they know is that solar is something to do with the sun, and you got to put a big panel on your roof.
Well, that's something else. It's funny you should go there, because that was one of the exciting things on this. Early on in this project, I ran a little self-survey of, friends, family, neighbors, anybody I ran into on the street. And one of the questions I always asked people was, what did they think of the aesthetics of flat panel arrays? And I won't use my actual vernacular, but let's just say they all thought it is real ugly. Let's put it that way.
It is.
That was another reason why we decided to be able to make it so that it would be, find a warm sunny spot and plug it in on the ground.
Yeah, I want to talk about that when we come back some more. I mean, like the durability of it. Can a dog chew on it? Will he get electrocuted? You know why I'm going there.
Yeah, I do.
Because we have 8,000 dogs on our property. No, that's not true. If I say that, my wife has a fit and all the dog pound people start running to our house. Hey, we're going to take a small break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about the durability of this, and maybe down the road we'll find out what a cost factor is, because we're not here to sell anything. We're here to educate. But it'd be nice to know that it's not $8 million a panel. So we'll find that out in the last quarter. But right now, this is Green Machine Radio. I'm Dave.
I'm Alex.
I'm Ron.
And I'm Ken.
And we'll be back in a moment right here on the Love Network on KCBQ AM 1170, Intelligent Talk Radio.
There stood a log cabin made of earth and wood, where lived a country boy named Johnny B. Good, who never ever learned to read or write so well. He could play a guitar just like he's ringing a bell. Go, 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 Johnny, go, 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 Johnny, go, go, go.
Intelligent Talk, 1170 KCBQ, San Diego.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. You're listening to the Green Machine Radio Show. I'm Dave.
I'm Alex.
I'm Ron.
And I'm Ken.
And we've been sitting around here just talking about a company called EDLSolar. Go to EDLSolar.com. Looks like we've got ourselves a different way of looking at solar panels. Instead of having to use a compass and a level, you can just throw them on the ground, plug it in, and you got it. Alex, how you doing tonight? Oh, by the way, this segment's brought to you by, if I don't do that, then none of us will get paid. Express Auto Service right there at 7633 El Cajon Boulevard in La Mesa, 619-463-1484. If they can keep mine and Ken's and Alex's
and
cars
they are
running.
Good.
Yeah, they can keep your car running too. 619-463-1484. Make sure you tell them we sent you. All right, son. So what do you got for us tonight?
Well, we're talking with Ron from EDLSolar here, and one of the really amazing things about this system that he has developed is the size of it.
Yeah, how big is it?
Well, when you talk about trying to get, say, 1.5 kilowatts out of a normal solar panel, you're going from here somewhere into the hallway with a length of arrays.
Really?
To get that.
Okay. How much can you get it with his?
Well, he could do it on top of this desk right here with room left over.
Really?
To give you an idea,
okay,
an average residential installation is right at 5,000 watts.
Okay.
Okay. Or a 5 kW system or a 20-panel system.
Right.
Maybe you've heard those terminology kicked around. That has a footprint, depending upon the panel manufacturer and the boss, which is the balance of system. That's all the structure, support structure, the wiring, and all the other nonsense that goes into it. We'll have a footprint somewhere over 350 to almost 400 square feet.
Wow.
That system, with my technology, the footprint is 33 square feet. It's about the size of your desk.
Jeez. I can't get very many cars into that.
Yeah. And it's only like 30 and a half inches tall.
Maybe I have to go old school. I need something really big to cover all my cars.
Well,
I'm only kidding. Because, your technology, I mean, let me ask you this. Have you entertained charging systems for home use for electric vehicles?
Yes, we have. that is a very definite application we're thinking about going to.
Because I can tell you right now, the ones that are out there, they're gargantuans. I mean, the thing is huge.
Yeah, it's because it's flat panel technology.
Right. Yes, flat, and I think it does. I think it does angulate, with the sun, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, again, this technology changes, almost every day.
That's like the second or third time you brought that up, and I agree with you. But it's not changing for the better.
Well, yeah.
And let me explain. I'm an old school engineer because I'm an old guy.
Right.
Okay. When I was in school, there was a philosophy, and I think you've all heard this, and everybody knows what it means when I say the word KISS. Mm-hmm. Keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
What most people don't understand is that is actually an engineering principle. Mm-hmm. That principle means that the simpler, the less complicated you can keep the design and manufacturing of it, you increase the stability, longevity, or the life of it, and reduce the cost of manufacturing.
Right.
In the solar industry, and in most industry nowadays, they just have a tendency to overcomplicate things, like these solar tracking systems, like you were alluding to, where the panels follow the sun around, or the solar intensifiers. It's basically like putting glasses on solar panels. All these do is add cost and complexity to the system, so it's a self-defeating purpose in my ideas.
Okay. Again, when we're talking about, I understand what when I keep saying technology changes every day. Probably, like I said, the base technology doesn't. It's just how people go about, getting it from point A to point B. I guess I should probably clarify it. Because like you say, your system is now covering this desktop, and probably in a couple of years, it'll be half this desktop, and who knows how small it's going to go. And who knows, where the applications are going to go, to the point where I mentioned earlier, because I've talked to the car manufacturers about it, embedding these types of your technology, like I have no problem saying it, embedding that into the roof, trunk, and hoods of cars, instead of, messing around, putting in these high-dollar charging systems, pulling from the grid, which, is counterproductive, if you want my opinion. Yeah, so I mean, this is a pretty exciting time for you to be in it. Now, is this going to be a patented thing, or are you the only one?
It is patented.
Okay, so you're the only one with this technology at this point in time? Okay, that's good to know. So I guess, really, I love talking to you engineers, because I always say, well, what are the limitations? And I usually get none. I mean, I don't know why you even ask that question. Well, but I do, because to me, none of this makes any sense. Oh, and it doesn't have to make sense, as long as it works.
Well, with the technology that the sunflower system, that's what we call this trap light technology, it really doesn't matter if the efficiencies of the cells increase, or a new type of solar cell is developed that totally replaces the monocrystal cell. It doesn't matter, because our technology enhances what these are. Okay, so if you come up with, all of a sudden somebody comes up with a cell that's now 35% energy efficient, you just open the lid of the box, pop out the old panels, pop in the new panels with the higher efficiency, done.
Yeah, so it's not a multi-million-dollar upgrade. You don't, because that, I'll be honest with you, one of the other reasons I haven't gone solar is because, you buy today's technology and you have to pay for it in 50 years. Well, by the time 10 years down the road, your technology is outdated. And if you do have to replace it, any parts and pieces, there's a good chance they're not going to be available, depending on who you buy your solar systems from. Because, I mean, you can't keep, how many solar companies are there out there making, how many different solar panels companies are there?
Oh, yeah.
A couple, 2 or 3?
At least.
So, and they're not like the car industry where you have to keep car parts for 10 years. And there's no rules. So I think consumers really need to be aware. And I think with the simplicity of your system and what you're talking about, you're not really causing a problem by making it so complicated that if something was to happen, that you're going to be the one on the short end of the stick.
Exactly. Well, we again, if you remember, I made a statement that we want every human being on this planet to be energy efficient.
Right.
In that statement is implied that you will be able to upgrade your system on demand as technology increases without making a fantastic investment in that system. As a matter of fact, in our business model, we even are going or have a buyback situation of old, outdated, or damaged panels.
Right.
So that, if you're an existing customer, 20 years from now, you want to upgrade your system, you ship us back your old panels, we ship you out the new panel.
You just pop them in and you're done.
Exactly.
Interesting. So you're going to keep the connecting mentality. I mean, there's no, well, like you said, if it's not broke, why fix it?
Exactly.
And if it's doing what you want it to do you need it to do any more than what it's doing? Probably not if it fulfills your need for electricity.
But families grow.
Yeah, right. And they also go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had one question for you, Ron. I know that there's a certain depth to the unit so that it can take advantage of the light trapping technology. Is there a way to create like a waveguide so that it could then be narrowed down and then perhaps elongated? And I'm just thinking for other applications, say in vehicle applications, something where you were able to shrink the depth of it, but maybe just spread out your area a little bit through some additional light focusing or channeling.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because that was one of the first things I was looking at when I was doing the design process and invention of this, is I actually had, and it's in our original patent, something called a light guide. The only problem is to get the amount of energy into the light guide, we had to go through mirrors. And the minute you go through mirrors or lenses, you create focal points. And the minute you create focal points, you turn everything to cinders. So to answer your question, yes, there are light tubes available. And as long as we can get the light to the, as we call it, the light chamber aperture, it's going to work.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But you don't want to use mirrors and or lenses to do that. So,
well, I got one for you, because I had a guy on that sold a home deionized washing system. And one of the applications he pitched was cleaning your solar panels, because if your solar panels get filthy, dirty, yours still have that issue, because yours is not really a flat panel. It's more of a, I mean, do you have a cleaning requirement?
Well, yes and no. Okay. The panels themselves will require very little maintenance. It is inside of the light chamber, which has a lid on it, a clear lid. So that clear lid will need to be cleaned
periodically.
Okay. I mean, but remember now, it's only 32 inches off the ground. It's not 15 feet on your roof.
That was, I know that.
So, it's basically, take a bottle of Windex and a wipey out there and squeak, and away it's done. That's all there is to it.
How do you plug that into the house?
Well,
I don't have a plug.
There is we're designed a special type of cannon plug. That's, if your military knows what a cannon plug is.
I know what that thing is.
And there's a lot of safety features that are built into that, for your especially for residential.
Right.
Is the minute you unplug it, it cuts the output to the cable. Okay, so to answer your questions with the dogs chewing on the cable, no, they won't electrocute themselves.
Exactly.
So is your next invention going to be a way to harness the heat from that focal point?
Well, we don't have focal points.
No, I know, but it can be used, right?
Well, I mean, that's, they have these solar heaters out now that they're using. I've seen
that how
on a
they
couple
work?
TV. Yeah. If you want to make one of those that's so hard, just go get one of your dish TV antennas and put aluminum foil on it, and you've got one. I mean, oh yeah, you can cook a steak with those things. I know, I did.
That is amazing.
If it's a whole new meaning to cooking the egg on the sidewalk. Right?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take our last break. And then when we come back, we'll hang Don upside down and find out how much one of these systems is going to cost us.
Oh, hold on.
I know. Well, we got 3 guys in here. We can get you down on the ground. Hey, we're going to take a small break. I'm Dave.
I'm Alex.
I'm Ron.
And I'm Ken.
And this is the Green Machine Radio Show on KCBQ AM 1170, Intelligent Talk Radio.
I said, Lord, take me downtown. I'm just looking for some touch. I've been bad. I've been good.
Intelligent Talk, 1170 KCBQ.
What's that?
How much weight you lose so far?
How much weight did I gain?
Oh, I did. All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. This is Green Machine Radio. I'm Dave.
I'm Alex.
I'm Ron.
And I'm Ken.
And we're just sitting around here having fun. And this segment's brought to you by the good folks at West Escondido Auto and Trans. You're in the Escondido area. What a great place to take your car. Brian and his team do everything from smogs to engines, trannies, you name it. He does it. He's also the car guy on CW6. And he's on another radio station. He's in my old time slot, but you'll have to go find that out for yourself. Otherwise, Nick will yell at me. 2200 Auto Parkway in Escondido. Go to westescondidoauto.com, 760-741-0071. Tell them you heard it right here on KCBQ for a nice little discount. So, Alex, again, great guests, cutting-edge technology, which is kind of what the show is becoming to be, is the place to find out what's new and what's great out there on the open market.
Yeah, and as new or as popular as solar has become, this truly is, I think, going to be the leading edge of solar technology to come.
Yeah. Pennsylvania, coal mines, those coal burning, but this should be able to eliminate that, wouldn't it?
A lot of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, maybe not 100% of it, but a big chunk of it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so let's just say, now, is your product more residential, or commercial, or all of the above?
Actually, this technology is easily transferable to all of your major industries. That's commercial, residential, industrial, and military, and other applications.
Okay.
All the way from little cell phone battery chargers.
How big's your house, Ken? How many square foot? 3?
2.
2,000?
Yeah.
Okay, 2,000.
Yeah.
Single story? Triple story?
Single.
Okay.
Ranch.
Oh, well, this is simple.
That's why I'm asking you.
Actually, we already have a system designed just for his type of application and condominiums.
Okay.
Also, let's face it, because I know one thing that you want to start talking about here in a bit is the cost of it.
Mm-hmm.
But not everybody can afford to go out and spend $20,000 to get into solar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Especially when they're telling you don't have to spend any money.
Well, there's problems with those,
course
and I'm
there
not
is.
going to go in and try to beat up these people because that's not my way of doing business. But I would just look at the fine print real careful. Anyway, but Ken, to answer your question, we have like a little 1.5 kW system, which would power your 2,000 square foot home all day long, or a 1,200 square foot condominium, or something like that, or for even people with larger homes that can't afford to make that huge investment, it's a baby step to get into solar. And then if they reinvest their savings from their electric bill very quickly, they can just add to this.
So you can expand.
This thing is 100% expandable.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, why should the solar industry limit the people that can take advantage of lowering their utility bills to only people with 25,000 square foot homes?
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay.
I agree. So for Ken's house,
Yeah, well, you said was what?
2,000.
2,000.
2,000?
Yeah, it's a little house.
I guess.
He just eats a lot, doesn't he?
It just eats a lot. Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
Don't feel bad.
For like that.
Did I say a wrong number? I think 2,000's right, isn't it?
Hey, Alex lives in 500 square foot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a ranch. It's a plain old ranch
welcome to
style built in
radio.
the
Probably-
70s.
Yeah.
You know.
I told you we don't make any money.
Yeah,
So-
about 2,000 square foot.
Okay.
Anyway, no, for one like that, you would probably be looking at a 4,000 to 5,000 kW system. and I'm trying to be a little coy here with you. If you were to buy a conventional flat panel system, install it, spend 20 grand, 5 years from now you want to move, you can't take that system with you, not economically.
Right.
Okay? So just with our transportability, because with ours you unplug it, throw it in the back of your pickup truck, and take it with you so you don't have to reinvest again, invest in that again, how much would that be worth to you?
Oh, that'd be tons. Yeah.
Okay. Now, the true cost of flat panel solar systems is not just the cost of the panels themselves. You've also got this thing called the BOSS, which is balance of system. That's all this spaghetti nightmare of wiring that's hanging down underneath it, all this flimsy tinker toy construction that holds the panels to keep from playing frisbee going down the block when somebody sneezes. Okay. Plus, then you got the labor for all that installation. And that's why these things cost about $20,000. Well, with the sunflower system, the labor's plugging it into a plug next to your electric meter, which costs about $100 to get that installed. Okay. All that BOSS is incorporated into the light chamber. Okay. So then you have the price of the panels. What that has done is significantly reduce the cost of manufacturing, because now we're not custom building a system for every application. So we've been able to reduce the cost of manufacturing by almost 40%.
Wow.
Which means that is going to be directly transferred to the homeowner. Which means, to answer your question, you're looking at about $12,500 instead of 20 to 25 grand.
Cool.
So half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 40%.
Yeah.
Does the government kick anything in?
Well, this would still be eligible for all the government.
That's what I'm saying. So you would be eligible. So you might even be a little bit less than that.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting. Sounds doable.
Yeah.
Will dogs chew on it?
Only if you plant little milk bones around the side of the box.
Yeah, you haven't seen my dog.
Only if you hang your dead chicken on it.
A guy came to my house asking me if I had a dead chicken. Now, do I look like I have a dead chicken?
Well, you have one on a beer can.
Well,
what about that one?
But that one I ate.
There's no way it would last in your yard.
Well, the guy said his dog was walking around with it in his mouth and wanted to know if it was mine. Do I look like I lost a chicken?
It's yours no longer, that's for sure.
How did we digress back to the chicken? But you know, so I get, well, okay, so then this has been extremely informative, but there are a few doorknobs out there that are going, what the heck did he just say? So do you do any consulting? Do you go to people's homes? Is that something, service that you offer, or no?
Well, not at this point, no. Because our business model is for the retail outlet to be big box.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So in other words, they could go to Home Depot or Lowe's, buy it, put it on, just take it home, plug it in, and bingo, they're done.
That's it. It's that simple. It's called KISS.
It's too simple.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry, you're going to have to.
So you're going to market
different.
in like Home Depot, have the guys standing there for the air conditioners.
Wait, you looking for a job?
Yeah, I need one.
Part-time job?
No, actually, you go into the electric department, and right next to the fuse and the battery checkers, there'll be the solar systems.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, and like I said,
Costco.
It sounds to me, how heavy are one of your panels?
Each panel is about 12 pounds.
Yes, I can handle 12 pounds.
Handle 12 pounds.
Well, if I need help, I know who to call. But yeah, it's just, what kind of warranty?
We're still discussing that right now, because you have to get the banks involved with that and all the life cycle testing, and oh my God, just the paperwork is just insane.
Yeah, well, you started it, wasn't me? I just want the panel. That's all. I don't care about your problem. No, I'm only kidding. Well, because you've really got to get some track record on this thing, so that you can, make a determination. Probably when you stop and think about it, there's no moving parts.
Nope.
It's pretty hard to say, well, it gets a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty, and it's not moving. So I don't know. Yeah, but those are the things that you're gonna, you have to look at.
Well, and all of our component parts in it are existing technology parts.
Right.
So it's, a PV cell is a PV cell.
Right.
Glass is glass. Plastic is plastic.
So so it should. Well, I tell you what, this is pretty exciting. I'm really glad that you took time out of your evening to come down here. Give the website out one more time.
Yes, it's EDL. That's Enviro Design Laboratories, Solar. solar.com.
Right here in California.
Yep, in good old El Cajon.
El Cajon. All right. Well, we really want to thank you for taking time, like I said, out. Any questions there, Kenneth?
No, I'm pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. How much time do we have?
Must have slept through that
What?
last one.
Did you-
See, here it comes. I know. It's just like throwing up. Go ahead.
Sunflower.
Yes.
Was it just a name you came? Was it just a name, or was your design inspired by?
He woke up in an orchard of sunflowers.
There we go. I'm going. That's where I'm going.
My grandfather once told me, he says, you know you're successful in life when you have fast cars, good scotch, and the love of a gorgeous woman.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And that gorgeous woman came up with the name Sunflower, and that's my wife, Stella.
Good
That's
enough.
the one sitting right behind
That's
you.
the
huh?
one sitting right
with her
behind.
hand up the back of your shirt helping you talk. That's good.
Yeah,
I
that's
like that.
my Muppet.
Trust me, without her, you'd be a mess. I could see
of
right
course.
now. I could already tell. Well, no, that's and it's the sunflower. I mean, let's face it. When you look at a sunflower, it's got thousands of little seeds inside there that kind of act just like that. Well, I tell you what, it's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to. I'm going to be chatting with you about it seriously because I've got to do something because my SDG&E bill is just a tad over $370 a month.
Ouch.
Yeah.
You're a candidate.
I'm a dummy, but I have. But see, I got
they're like 150 is where they kind of
Yeah, that seems to be about the cutoff part, unless
What's
you've got a
150?
tile roof.
$150 a month electrical bill is where they start working you on the solar. The other companies.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, that the bummer is that the only thing I don't like about your system is now I can't put up a big old massive carport to cover all my cars.
No, you can.
But I'm only going to put one panel up there.
No,
My wife will never
why
explain
put one box? Put 10 up there and become an electrical generation station. Sell that energy back to SDG&E.
Yeah, right. Like they're going
There you go.
What?
Now we're talking.
Boy, you fell down coming through this door, dude. SDG pay you back. Oh, man.
Either that or make a co-op and sell it to your neighbor.
There you go.
You had me so sold until that statement, but that's okay. I totally understand. Hey, folks, this has been Green Machine Radio. I'm Dave.
I'm Alex.
Now we're on.
And I'm Ken.
And we really want to thank you for taking time. But if you still want more of Unstructured Radio, the You Ought to Know show's coming up next. Ken and I are going to stumble through that. Got some interesting news. Just came back from Detroit. So, hey, folks, this has been Green Machine Radio, Intelligent Talk Radio.
Green Machine Radio on KCBQ is sponsored by the Love Radio Network.